Hi, Denise here, and today I'm going to demonstrate the smudge tool in Sketches School. Today we're going to use the smudge tool with the acrylic paintbrush, the watercolor paintbrush, and then to fade out or soften the edge of an image. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the smudge tool, which is the tool right down here. I'm going to tap on it for a second. As you can see, we just have a blank sheet of paper. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is just throw some color on the paper, and then I'll show you how to use the smudge tool to blend the colors together, much like you would do when you were painting using a paintbrush. We're going to use the acrylic brush tool. For now, I'm going to stick it on the biggest size that I can. And we'll just choose, we'll go from a light color, like a pink, down through like maybe an orange and a red. So we'll start here, and I'm just going to create, for now, just some curlicues. So now we have kind of a gradation of colors. Maybe this is a bird's wing, who knows? But what I want to be able to do now is I want to blend those colors together so we have a more even transition between the colors. So I'm going to choose my smudge tool. And now I'm just going to start, I'm going to put my finger on, and I'm going to smudge along that line. Now notice if I smudge up from the darker color to the lighter color, I'm pulling the dark color into the light color. And so you can just keep doing that and rubbing back and forth along that line till you get kind of the look that you want. The more you smudge across, the more those colors that you're smudging will blend. And so we can create kind of an even, almost like I have a paintbrush and I have wet paint, and I'm pulling the colors together and mixing them as I go. And you just keep playing until you get the look that you want. So now we have, there a much more even look, as you can see. We can do the same thing down here with the orange and the pink and going across. You can really just pull in the direction that you want the blend to go. So that's kind of a first step. Now what if we wanted a little more definition in there? So say these top light pink feathers, if we're going to call it a bird's wing, if they're laying on top of the pink feathers, you probably have a darker edge along there where there's a shadow created. So what we can do again is go back to our brush, choose a darker color. I'm going to go up here and choose kind of a darkish pink, or maybe a pinkish purple. Now, here's one thing I really want to show you. When I'm doing a line, if I choose my little small one, because I think it's just a little bit of a line that I want there, and I draw, right, to give that shadow line. Now when I try to smudge, it's going to be really hard to actually, still have the definition of I want, because especially when I'm using a finger, which I'm doing here, it's hard to really control exactly where I'm smudging. So while I'm getting a little bit of a definition there, to really get the blend that I want, I have to do more, and it almost blends out that color almost entirely. So what I tend to do is I use the wider tool. And so I'll do an example of that down here with the orange, where I'm going to choose kind of a dark orange. We'll use a brown in this case. And I'm going to draw the lines to where I'm going to have my feathers go here. Now when I smudge, I have a bigger area to smudge. So I'm going to get a deeper shadow, but I'm going to be able to leave a more defined edge on my shadow that I'm creating. And there we have a smudge, where we have a little more defined edge between our feathers. Where is smudging useful for? If we want to give depth to things, it basically can give shadows and depth. We're going to do a watercolor this time, because watercolor paints are slightly different. Watercolors, with their semi-transparent thing. If I keep my finger down as I'm painting, I can get a solid color. As you can see, as long as I keep my finger down, I'm pretty solid. I have a pretty solid color. I'm going to move to a bigger one now. So, and the bigger one is lighter. So you can see, as long as I don't pick up my finger, I am just having a thing. But if I pick up and now I go again, because of the semi-transparent nature, you can definitely see that transition. And we'll just go here, do it. So you can see that. And watercolor, that's not what you typically want. This is more like you have a watercolor, it dries, and then you put another color on top of it. But if you want it to be more of a wet look, that's where the smudge tool comes in. I take the smudge, I smudge that line, and now it's as if I have watercolors and I'm blending it. And by adding one color on top of another, it gets darker, but I can have a smooth blend. Here, I did a quick sketch of a tiger, and it's very, very defined along this edge. One thing the smudge tool can let me do here is to kind of blend that out as if he's fading into the rest. So I can just pull out my tiger along the edge just to get another effect. I pull out so that he fades into. So you might decide to put some green in there as if he's coming out of the jungle, but this is one way that he can fade in. But I thought this was a good example to give about how you can smudge out the edge and I would just keep doing this until I get the look I want. But it's a little more finished. So, good 2-finger pinch. That's all there is to it, to smudging and blending paint colors using Sketches tools.